The sun was setting as a group of friends, Lisa, Jake, Emily, and Ryan, drove down a winding, overgrown road in the countryside. They were on a mission to explore the infamous street, Helena's Asylum, a long-abandoned mental institution with a dark history. Urban legends told of mistreated patients, unethical experiments, and mysterious disappearances. For years, it had stood empty, a decaying monument to human suffering and neglect. "Are you sure this is a good idea?" Emily asked, her voice wavering slightly. Jake, the most adventurous of the group, laughed. "Come on, Em. It's just an old building. We'll go in, take some pictures, and be out before midnight." Lisa, always the skeptic, chimed in. "Besides, it's not like we actually believe the ghost stories, right?" Ryan, who had been driving, pulled the car to a stop in front of the asylum. The building loomed ahead, its windows shattered, and ivy creeping up its crumbling walls. The air was thick with an eerie silence. They grabbed their flashlights and equipment and headed towards the entrance. The massive wooden doors creaked as they pushed them open, revealing a dark, musty interior. The air inside was stale, and the floor was littered with debris. "Let's stick together," Ryan suggested, his voice echoing in the empty hallway. They moved cautiously through the asylum, their flashlights casting long shadows on the walls. The place was a maze of corridors and rooms, each more decayed than the last. Peeling paint and broken furniture were everywhere, and the occasional scurrying of rats broke the silence. In one room, they found old medical equipment scattered around. Emily picked up a rusted pair of restraints, her face grim. "This place gives me the creeps." Jake snapped a few photos. "It's perfect for our project. Just imagine the stories we can tell." As they continued exploring, they came across a staircase leading to the basement. The air grew colder as they descended, and the smell of mold and decay intensified. They reached a heavy metal door at the bottom, which groaned as they pushed it open. The basement was darker than the floors above, with narrow, claustrophobic hallways and small, windowless rooms. Ryan shone his flashlight into one room and froze. "Guys, you need to see this." They gathered around and saw what had caught his attention. A row of small cells, each with a heavy iron door. Inside the cells were remnants of chains and filthy, tattered bedding. "This must have been where they kept the most dangerous patients," Lisa said, her voice barely above a whisper. Jake wandered into one of the cells, examining the walls. "Look at these scratches. Someone was desperate to get out." Suddenly, a loud bang echoed through the basement, and their flashlights flickered. Emily screamed, clutching Ryan's arm. "Calm down. It's probably just the building settling," Jake said, though his voice lacked its usual confidence. But then, they heard it. A faint whispering, growing louder. It seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. "We should leave," Ryan said firmly, starting to back towards the staircase. As they turned to leave, the metal door slammed shut with a deafening clang, plunging them into darkness. Panic set in as they fumbled with their flashlights. When the beams finally flickered back on, they saw a figure standing at the end of the hallway. It was a woman, dressed in a tattered hospital gown, her hair matted and her eyes vacant. She stared at them with an unsettling intensity. "Who are you?" Lisa called out, her voice shaking. The woman didn't respond. Instead, she began to move towards them, her movements jerky and unnatural. The whispering grew louder, more insistent, filling their minds with a cacophony of voices.